Welcome to CBS Easy.
All right, let's talk about Bholi. Now, you know this story is pretty much a guaranteed question on your board exams, right? But honestly, it's so much more than just a chapter. It's this incredible story about transformation. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how a girl who was completely neglected turns into, well, a masterpiece. I'll give you all the key insights you need to tackle any question with total confidence, right? Let's get into it. So, this is the big question, isn't it? How on earth does a girl, literally called a dumb cow by everyone around her, become this confident, amazing masterpiece? I mean, where does that strength even come from? Well, the answer is hidden in a few really important moments, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack piece by piece. Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll start by meeting Bholi, the simpleton, then we'll hit that huge turning point for her, school. We'll look at how her teacher helps create this masterpiece, and then get to the big climax where Bholi finally says no. And to wrap it all up, we've got some exam gold, everything you need to ace this topic. All right, first up, meet Bholi, the simpleton. We need to get into her tragic backstory and really understand why everyone underestimated her so badly. So let's start at the beginning. You know, her real name was actually Sulekha, but nobody called her that. To everyone, she was just Bholi the simpleton. And sadly, there were a few big reasons for that. And this right here really captures that feeling of isolation she must have felt. From day one, she was just neglected. And we're not just talking about physical neglect. This was deep emotional abandonment. Imagine being treated like you're just an afterthought in your own home. Of course, she had no confidence. That's the foundation of her entire story. I mean, just look at what was stacked against this poor girl. It's just one thing after another. First, she suffers brain damage from a fall when she's just a baby. Then, at age 2, she gets smallpox, which leaves her disfigured. All of this insecurity leads to a terrible stammer. And on top of it all, her own family neglects her, everyone mocks her. It's like this perfect storm of misfortune. And the worst part? She was basically erased. Her real name, Sulekha, was just forgotten. All that was left was that cruel label, Bholi. Okay, section 2, the turning point, school. This is about the one decision that changed absolutely everything. Because, you know, even in the darkest stories, there's always a turning point. And for Bholi, it was this single decision, which, funny enough, was made for all the wrong reasons, that completely changes the path of her life. Let's look at how it all started to shift. And here's the great irony of the whole story. Bholi gets her big break, not because her parents believed in her, but because they just wanted to obey a government official, the Tihsildar. That one line from her mother says everything you need to know. Let the teachers at school worry about her. You see, for them, school wasn't about opportunity for Bholi. It was just a convenient way to get rid of a problem. And just look at the immediate impact this has. For the first time in her entire life, she gets a clean dress. She's given a proper bath, and someone oils her hair. Can you imagine? These tiny, simple acts of being cared for plant the very first seed of self-worth in her mind. It's such a powerful reminder that dignity starts small. And what's really important here is that her transformation begins before she even opens a single book. Okay, now for part 3, a teacher's masterpiece. This is all about how one single person's belief can totally change a life. So picture this. Bholi walks into the school, absolutely terrified and overwhelmed. But it's there that she meets the one person who's going to look right past the simpleton label and see the masterpiece hiding inside. Just listen to this line from the text. The teacher's voice was so soft and soothing. In all her life, she had never been called like that. It touched her heart. I mean, just think about the power of that for a second. For a kid who has only ever heard harsh commands and people laughing at her, a soft, kind voice is, well, it's revolutionary. It wasn't an order. It was an invitation to feel safe. And that simple kindness, it was the key that started to unlock the real person who was trapped inside. This right here perfectly breaks down the two different worlds Bholi was living in. On one side, you have how the rest of the world saw her. They called her Bholi, they laughed at her stammer, they basically saw a dumb cow. Total dismissal. But then, look at the teacher's view. She didn't call her Bholi, she used her real name. She didn't laugh, she gently encouraged her. She didn't see a dumb cow, she saw a future masterpiece. By simply calling her Sulekha, she started giving Bholi her real identity back. And then the teacher makes this incredible promise. She tells her, in time, you will be more learned than anyone else. No one will ever be able to laugh at you. See, she's not just being kind here. She's giving Bholi a roadmap, a way out of the darkness of her past and into a bright future. That promise, that one day no one will be able to laugh at you, that's not just about books and learning, it's about building a shield of self-respect. All right, part 4, the climax. Bholi says no. This is where the so-called dumb cow finally finds her voice. So years go by, right? Bholi gets an education, but of course, her family still sees her as the same old clueless girl. So they arrange her marriage to this old, lame, greedy guy named Bishamber. And this right here, this sets the stage for the most powerful, most important scene in the entire story. 5,000 rupees. That's the number. At the wedding, the second Bishamber actually sees Bholi's pockmarked face, everything stops. And his demand is just cold and heartless. 5,000 rupees. It's totally transactional. He's not marrying a person. He's acting like he's buying a flawed product, and now he's demanding a discount. It is the ultimate insult. So what happens? Her poor father is begging, literally putting his honor at Bishamber's feet, and he goes to get the money. The groom smirks. He moves in with the garland. He thinks he's won. But right then, in that exact moment, something just ignites inside of Bholi. All those years of quiet learning, her teacher's voice echoing in her mind, that little spark of self-respect, it all just explodes into one single, powerful, defiant action. She looks him right in the eye and says, "Pitaji, take back your money. I am not going to marry this man. I will not have such a mean, greedy, and contemptible coward as my husband." And she says it in a voice that is crystal clear and loud. There's no stammer, not a trace. Everyone is just stunned. The dumb cow is gone, and in her place stands Sulekha, a woman with courage, a woman with conviction, who is fighting not just for herself, but against the evil of dowry. Wow, what a powerful story. Okay, now let's get down to business. It's time for our exam gold wrap-up. This is where we take everything we've talked about and turn it into the essential points you need to write a perfect, full marks answer. This is where we connect the story directly to your scores. So if you get any question about her character, it all comes down to this transformation right here. It's Bholi versus Sulekha. Think about it. In terms of confidence, she goes from timid and scared to bold and confident. Her voice goes from a stammer to speaking clearly and firmly. Her identity goes from being a dumb cow to a self-respecting woman, and her actions go from passive to decisive. The most important thing to remember is she doesn't just change her behavior, she reclaims her true identity. This is the before and after you have to nail in your answer. And here are the main themes you absolutely have to weave into your long answers. These are like the magic keywords. You've got empowerment through education. That's a big one. The importance of compassion and encouragement, which is all about her teacher, her courage to fight a social evil like dowry, and this massive idea of finding your true identity versus the labels society sticks on you. Seriously, use these phrases. They'll make your answers sound so much more impressive. So I want to leave you with this final thought. The story tells us that Bholi's teacher saw her as a masterpiece, right? Like an artist finishing their greatest work. My question for you is, what was the one quality, the most essential tool that the teacher used to complete it? Was it her kindness, her patience, or, and I think this is it, was it just the simple belief that there was a masterpiece hiding in there, waiting to be discovered all along? Really think about that, because that question gets you to the absolute heart of this amazing story.
Thank you for watching with us. See you next time.